Mira stood by the window that morning, the steam of her tea curling softly against the glass. Outside, the world moved as usual, busy, unaware. But inside her, time felt suspended. This wasn't grief, and it wasn't quiet peace. It was something in between. A quiet ache that didn't scream, but never stopped whispering. She watched the light play on the rim of her cup, and in that silence, she realized something unsettling. Even though she had survived the storm, there was no map for what came after. Healing wasn't the triumphant music swelling at the end of a movie. It was awkward, lonely, quiet. And no one warned her about the in between. That strange place where you are no longer drowning but not yet free. That day, Mira moved through her apartment like a ghost. She wiped the kitchen counter twice, rearranged books she wasn't going to read, scrolled through messages she didn't want to answer. She wasn't sad, not exactly, just disconnected. There was no emergency anymore, no one to rescue, no breakdown to explain the heaviness in her chest. Only stillness and the raw awareness of her own company. Later, she curled up on the couch, blanket wrapped around her shoulders. The ache between who she used to be and who she was becoming stretched like an old scar. She wasn't sure which version of herself she missed more, the woman who tolerated too much or the one who finally said enough. But both felt distant and neither felt whole. She reached for a journal she hadn't opened in weeks. On the page, she wrote three words: I feel lost, and then paused. Not because she wanted to be dramatic, but because it was the first honest sentence she written in a long time. And strangely, the act of admitting it softened her. Maybe healing wasn't about being strong every day. Maybe it was about being honest enough to not to be. That night, she sat by her beside, lights dimmed, heart quieter. She placed her hand on her chest, not to soothe it, but to say, I hear you. And in that whisper of a moment, something subtle shifted. She didn't fix the ache, she didn't rise the triumphantly, but she stayed with herself. And as the city outside slowly slipped into nightfall, Mira stood still for a moment. The ache was still there, it hadn't disappeared, but something has shifted. Not everything needs to be fixed in one day. Not every storm needs to be outrun. Sometimes healing is simply staying with yourself when every instinct tells you to run. So she didn't run, she didn't push it away. She just sat there with her tea, with her silence, with her ache. And in that quiet, something ancient inside her whispered, you don't have to be whole to be worthy. You just have to stay. Thank you for watching. This is She Who Rises, Episode 3, The Ache Between. If something in you felt seen today, stay close. The journey continues in Episode 4 because she's not done rising yet.